So we're going to create a new project, but we're doing it a little differently. So you're going to go up to File and select New Project. And normally we do Java application, and this time we're going to do Java class library, which is a little bit different. We're going to hit Next. And then they want to call it Hello World Applet. And then for this, I don't know if you guys knew that you can switch your location. And so I'm just going to, there's an answer keys that I have of how someone before me have solved these problems. They're mine that I have used to solve. I use this one for demonstrations, and then I have testing folder where I test your code. So I actually have 4 major categories. So I'm going to put this one into, actually I'm going to put it into demonstrations because I'm demonstrating this one. And I'm going to hit open. And so that way you get to decide the path as to where you save your information. And I didn't know if you guys were aware of that. And then I'm going to hit finish. So here I am with my projects. And if I right click on here, it says in the directions to click on the project node. So that just is really like the project file. And if I go new, and then I go to Java class, and here it says under class name type Hello World. So type Hello World, H-E-L-L-O, capital W-O-R-L-D, and then I'm going to click Finish. So I had to toggle back over to our lesson because the next step it says that I need to copy this code and put it over the default code. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to just highlight all of the code, making sure I get all the way down to the bracket, and I hit Control-C to copy. And then I'm going to go to NetBeans, and I'm going to do select all, and then I'm just going to do Control Paste, and pasted everything that they had there. That is what you need to do. I wanted to let you know that I have gone and I've just sort of adjusted how my screen is being viewed. And just so you know how to do that, there's a Windows tab. It's up to the right, or it's to the left of the help. It's pretty far over in your menu for NetBeans. And then you have all of these options, and I'm sorry that it's covering the word window, but it's just window. So you can have the project window and the file window and favorites. So they have all different windows that you could force to display, and you can sort of just rearrange. And so if you like dragged a window, like the orange will show that it's going to put it down below, or I can put it next to something, see the orange window. So you can sort of drag things around and change how your screen looks. So the first thing, and I'm going to get an error message because I've already done this, so I apologize, but if I right click on, the first thing that they say to do is right click on the project node, which again is the little thing with the coffee cup, and then you're going to choose build. I'm going to get an error message when I do that because I've already built this, so I'm just going to have to click clean and build for mine. I'm going to go into the source libraries, and I want my hello world.java to appear because the second step is I'm going to do another right click, and this time I'm going to do run file. And so now I have my applet showing here. So that is the first way. So I'm going to stop this from running. The next part of the assignment says that I should modify this, and it says in the paint method. So I know this is the paint method down here. So this is the section I'm going to look at. So it wants me to print my name on the screen. So I'm like, at first I'm like, what? I don't know how to use this. But then I breathe and calm down, and I say, well, wait a minute. It's just printing the name. I can just change this to say Mrs. Donahue. That's easy. Okay, phew. All right, now I look at the next one. Number 2, print another string on the screen in a different location. Well, they talked about this being the coordinate plane, and all the values are positive. So they said it corresponds to quadrant 1. Let's see if I can make some more space so we can read the whole thing of a traditional coordinate plane. So they're always positive. Okay, so this is going to be, so if I had the coordinate plane, then I can imagine, so I think it goes X and then Y. So I can test it just to see. So I think this is 50 spaces away from the X and then 25 for the Y is what I'm guessing. So we'll see. We'll play with it. So I'm going to just copy the same thing. Draw string, and then I'm going to draw another message. Applets seem pretty cool. And there's a comma. And oh, look what they already put a comma here. Look at that. Automatically does this for me. All right, so the width. All right, so I don't know if this is the size of the block or what. So let's just try something. So if that's at 50, I'm going to try and put it at 100. So I'll move it over. And if that's at 25, maybe I will double that and put this at 50. So we'll see what this does. So I'm going to go back here. And I'm going to right click. And last time when I did the build, I already done that. They wanted clean and build. So I'm just going to do the clean and build this time instead of getting the error message. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to run. Let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. All right, so it put Mrs. Donahue in the regular spot. And then it says applets seem pretty cool. So that's interesting to me. So the 100 definitely moved further that way. And then the 50 seems down. So I'm going to play one more time. I'm just going to see if I can make that go further down, just so I can double check what I think is happening in this code. This is how you experiment. So I'm going to go back over. I'm going to right click. My right click is not working well, so I have to do a control click, which is a pain. Clean and build. All right, and now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to run my file. And it did just what I thought. So it moved it down further. So it seems like this is the 0, 0, 0, but all the numbers are positive. So I'm not quite sure why that's quadrant 1, but now I'm getting sort of a sense as to what happens. So the first number is how far away from the left-hand side it's going to go. And then the other is the second number. So this 50 or the 100 is how far away from the left side we're going to go. And then the 25, we can see that's pretty close to the top. And then 100 is further down. So I have a good sense of how that works now just from my experimentation. Okay, the third part of the directions were to take some of our old code and put in a method that doesn't take any input, so that you're just not user input anyway, so that you're sending parameters down. So, and also it said we could, if we wanted, to look at the other details and change colors. And so, of course, I love to experiment, so I did do actually the color thing. So there's the g.setColor, parentheses, color.orange. So I wanted to turn, so Mrs. Donahue is going to just print out. And again, remember, I just changed what was already there for the Hello World, and I just called it Mrs. Donahue. And so I changed the string that was going to print, so it would have my name. And then I put in the additional string that applets seemed pretty cool. And we played with the dimensions on, sort of how that worked on the screen. And we realized that the first number is the offset from the left-hand side of the screen, so how far over it goes. And then the second number is from the top of the screen down, how far it goes. So those are those numbers. And then I changed the color to be blue for my next information. So what I did was I copied my area triangle from the third week that I was taking in parameters. So I took in a double and a double for the base and a double for the height. And originally this was a print line, and originally this was a void. And so what I had to do to change this is it wouldn't take from the program. I couldn't have a void here. So I had to change it, and I noticed everything I was putting here, well, oh geez, these are all strings. So I knew I had to change it to a string. And so now I did a return, and the return I put in parentheses, and it's kind of working the exact same way as the print line. I put the area of your triangle is, and again, this was in my regular code, but before this was the system out print line statement. And then I added the variable area triangle. So it says, this is area triangle here. It's going to do a calculation based upon what I send down. So I put that in, and then I knew that I needed to call the function somehow. But I also wanted it to print the words. And so what I ended up doing was do g draw string, and then I put in parentheses, here I am calling the function, and then another set of parentheses because I'm sending the two parameters down. Since I said I was sending down doubles, I made sure that they were doubles, so I put that floating point in there. I put the decimal point, and then I put a comma, and then again, these two numbers are where it's going to print on the screen. So it's going to go 100 from the side, and then it's going to go 125 down from the top, so it's going to be a little bit lower. And normally this is how we've been doing ours, right? We hit play here, and nope, it's not going to work because it can't run the project because there's no main class. So I just wanted to show you sort of what would happen. So I know I go back up to Hello World Applets, and I do my right click on it. And the first time you do it, you have to build, but now I'm going to do clean and build, because if I just do build, it'll give me an error message. So it has said that my build is successful. I'm still staying up here, Hello World Java. I'm going to do control right click, and I'm going to run the file. So I'm running this within NetBeans, and you can see it's not instantaneous. It takes a little while. Okay, so here's my applet, and so it says Mrs. Donahue, which is before it said Hello World, and I changed the name. And then this is my new line. Applets seem pretty cool. And then it has the area of your triangle is 30. So now I've met all three requirements, because remember, I needed to change the Hello World file. I needed to have my name print. Check. I needed to put a new line statement, a new print statement, and it needed to be in a different area. Check. I did that. And then the last thing I needed to do was to include a method that I had done before, a simple one, and they said it would be easier if I only had one line of text to print. So check, I did that too. I did the area. I picked area of a triangle. So you can sort of do whatever you'd like, and that's printing there. So now this is set. Only send me the .java file, and I will run it locally just like I did here. And again, you can try different things. You can try and put the set color in if you want. You can change. There are certain colors that they have, so I can try it again in magenta. If I can spell magenta, I think I have it right. And let's see. Let's test this out, because I'm not sure if I can just run it without doing the clean, if it's going to change the color for me. So let's do a little experiment. Oh, and it did work. It didn't really change any of the code, just the color. So now I have it in magenta. I do like that color. So I know my file is ready to send to me, and I will get all of my points because I did everything that was required. If you have any problems, let me know. I'm happy to help.